People who have worked at Goodwill or other thrift stores etc. and processed donations, what's the craziest thing you've found? I had a mate who worked in one of the bigger Lifeline stores in Australia. A woman came into the store with 5 large clear plastic storage boxes and asked to donate them. He looked inside of the boxes and it was thousands of beautifully hand-painted Warhammer pieces. He was shocked and asked her why. They were her son's and she couldn't keep them in the house anymore since his death. My friend said he couldn't accept the donation. He said the whole collection was worth a lot of money. She had no idea. He asked her for all her details and asked if he could try to sell it for her. She agreed. After his shift he went home and took photos of everything and posted it online in an Australian Warhammer forum. Within a couple of weeks everything was sold. He called her and she met him at the store. He told her he had sold it to collectors all around Australia who loved her son's work. He handed her roughly $12,000. She cried, he cried, she offered him half, he said no. She told him she would donate his half to a suicide charity in her son's name and his name. He said it was the best thing he had ever done in his life. People who have worked at Goodwill or other thrift stores etc. and processed donations, what's the craziest thing you've found? Co-worker found a live hand grenade. Bomb squad was called. Be careful when you donate grandpa's shit, people. What are some tricks in bed that everyone should know? Journal, date unknown, I fear I may never see my wife again. It seems like an age ago that I said goodnight, as we crawled into our new king-size bed. I rolled over to give her a kiss but she was lost to me in a veritable desert of sheets, and so I began my journey across the inner spring wasteland. I find no comfort since my comforter went missing. I have lost sight of my pillow 2 years hence, and the madness has begun to set in, but this day I find a break in the monotonous journey. I have discovered a lost civilization comprising of the ancestors of our 2 terriers, who have recognized me as some kind of deity, no doubt due to stories passed down through generations. Dear God, how long have I been out here, searching? They tell me of a legend they call the Great Snorer. They say her rumbling breath can be heard all across these lands when the night is still. I feel like I'm going crazy, but I can almost hear it. Could it be her? Could my journey be at an end? Or is it just another siren's song, ready to lead me away from my love and into the cold, indifferent company of the cat? I'm so tired. What useless skill do you absolutely dominate? Dislocating my joints at will. My illness may be chronic but my party tricks are iconic. Edit, wow thanks y'all. Wasn't expecting all this from my silly comment. To answer some common things. Yes, I have Ehlers-Danlos. Sometimes it hurts, sometimes it doesn't. And I never know which one it will be that day until it happens. My most mobile joints are my hands and wrists, feet, knee, and ribs. I can do any joint if I try, but those are the ones that go rogue and pop out on their own. I know it's damaging to keep dislocating my joints, even if I don't feel pain. Don't worry, I don't go to parties, so I hardly ever do it often. I avoid messing my body up more than it is. If you want to get diagnosed, good fucking luck. Find an EDS specialist, as that's your best bet, but even then some people take decades fighting health professionals to get diagnosed. Not to discourage you, just letting you know what's ahead. What did the weird kid in your school do that you'll never forget? He stabbed someone at a bus stop freshman year of high school. I don't think it was as intense as the rumors about it were, but he definitely had a knife and pulled it. He got expelled and sent to a high school for kids with behavioral mental health issues. Senior year rolls around and he gets sent back to our high school. On the first day of school he shows up in a t-shirt that says "Stabby is back." Legendary. Redditors who work at remote places like forest officers, oil rig workers, etc., what creepy things have you noticed while at work? I spent some time in the peat swamp forests of Borneo studying wild orangutan. We would go into the forest very early, around 4 a.m. One morning there was a clouded leopard on the trail we used to enter the forest. It was just crouched there watching us. We shouted, tried to act big. One of the indigenous people we worked with even took out his slingshot and shot rocks at it. He missed on purpose, just trying to scare it off. It stayed there for a good 5 minutes watching us before it slowly walked into the thick brush off the cleared trail. When we walked by, I shined my light to where it had walked to and could clearly see a pair of reflective eyes only 3 meters away, crouched watching us pass. Creepy, but also incredibly cool to see one in person for how critically endangered they are. Edit. Since I've got quite a few requests for pictures, I just posted a picture I took of a baby orangutan named Merker. Edit. These were wild orangutans. We tried our best to keep our distance and never tried to touch them. The goal was to observe them while trying not to affect their natural behavior. That being said, over my year there I did get charged by one of the big dominant males in the area on 3 separate occasions, which is its own terrifying story to tell another time. He never did touch me, but sure scared the hell out of me and made me run. Edit. Since a lot of people are asking, I am American who studied biology in college. How I got this job was a combination of luck and preparation. I worked my butt off in college and had field experience, and then we had a guest speaker one day who is a big name in orangutan conservation research talk to us. I had always wanted to go to Borneo and got to speak with her after the talk and discovered that she needed 2 students to go do research for a year after graduation. She interviewed me and the rest was history. I do want to mention to anyone considering this field that it is hard work. We would wake up at 3:30 a.m., spent 14 to 15 hours in a swamp forest following wild orangutans, taking data every 2 minutes. It was hot, humid, and tons of mosquitoes. No communication to the outside world except on our days off, where we could take a 15-minute walk to a tree stand where we could sometimes get 1 bar of service to send a few WhatsApp messages to family. The camp was only 15-ish people and we would spend 2 to 4 months there at a time before going back to the city, Palangkaraya, to bring back samples. The location of this research was in central Kalimantan, Borneo. That all being said, it was an amazing experience, of course. Saw animals and insects that just blew my minds, and I miss it all the time. Happy to answer some more questions in PMS as low as I'm not flooded.
And then she kissed my face, yeah. I'm falling.